Welcome to Wings of Change, where stories of soulful transformations come to life. I'm Sara Marzo, the host of this podcast, youth worker, trainer, and ecosomatic coach. Together, we will explore inspiring journeys of growth and change. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. And today we have another special guest with us, Balázs Daradics. I hope I pronounced in the right way, or better say Baloo, right, Baloo?
Yes, I usually say my name is Balu, like the bear from the Jungle Book, because having a Hungarian name, it's not so easy for everyone to pronounce.
Indeed, it is not easy for me, being an Italian. So, Baloo, are you ready to share your story of soulful transformation, your wings of change, the one you developed or hopefully you level up doing the program from caterpillar to butterfly?
It depends on who you ask. If you ask my mind, I'm never ready, and I probably never be. But if you ask my heart, then it's always ready.
Then I'm asking your heart and I'm inviting the mind to follow. Does it work?
Definitely. So, yeah, let's dive into it.
So let's dive artfully and mindfully and into this journey of this podcast together, because I'm really curious to interview you, and also I guess our listeners are really curious to hear your story of transformation, dear Baloo. So, first question, but maybe the most challenging one, is who you are.
Hmm.
Who you are, Baloo. Introduce yourself in the way you want.
Hmm.
Give us a taste of you.
Yeah, indeed, it's a very difficult question because the answer is always changing. I'm already not the person I was yesterday, and definitely not the one that people from months or years ago knew me. Because life is a flow of river, and the river only goes one way, it doesn't go back. So I am a complexity of experiences and memories that I have gathered inside of me along the years that I have lived on this earth. And I used to say to people that I come from the forest because, this general question, where are you coming from? And I think that we all come from nature. And it's funny how in some cultures, they don't even use the concept of nature because they don't see themselves as humans being separate from nature. And I really resonate with this because I believe that we are only the human part of this whole life that is present on Earth. So to answer the question, who am I? I am just another living being on this earth that is experiencing the time in between birth and death. And a unique expression of life. An expression of emotions, thoughts, feelings, experiences, words. And I try to express this in the world through art, sometimes visual art, through photography, through video. And lately I am working more and more with words as well. I'm finding a lot of joy in writing. writing poetry, writing thoughts, journaling, and movement. I am discovering more and more my body and how it can move and how it can express and how it can be an expression of emotions and thoughts. So yeah, in a nutshell, I am a unique living expression of life itself.
But today, Balu, if we ask who are you, the answer is unique expression of life. That it's full of memory, complexities, being the living being, the human part of nature, passionate about art, visual, photo, video, words, poetry, journaling, so many things. I would like to ask for each word you said a question, but let's see where we go. And I guess already the question was tricky enough, and but more are to come. Don't relax. I mean, relax enough. I mean, and so thank you. It's already a very poetic start for our interview together. And yeah, so you, unique expression of life, Balu, today. Some point of of the expression of your life, it seems that you applied for program. You were called by this name of this project, Erasmus Plus project, from caterpillar to butterfly. And I wonder, how come you applied? What happened in your life to bring you in that path of this program?
It's really hard to say what, but I trust that there is a bigger force in life that we don't see. And I truly believe that nothing in our life happens randomly by chance. And me applying for a program of self-development and transformation, which we are talking about here, I could just say that it was a random happening that a friend of mine suggested that I check out this program. And at the same time, I could say that everything in my life up to that point happened and prepared me to be ready to take part in such an experience and to meet the people who were ready to meet me there, who I was ready to meet. And I think that this is the beauty of life, that things happen a lot of times unexpectedly. And if I am open to receive them, then I can grow from them. And I definitely see this project as an opportunity for growth, for my expansion, for my becoming, unfolding of life. And I definitely see that it was a milestone in my opening. It helped things to crack open inside of me. And I had to be ready for that. So I don't think it happened randomly that I applied exactly for that program and exactly in that time. So maybe I could say that there is a force that maybe we call mystery, or maybe we call the unknown, or the universe, that's always guiding us, that's always there.
So while I listen to you, I perceive this faith, this trust that whatever happens, happens because it is meant to be like this. Is this something like this that you're saying? Did this program arrived and you were prepared for it? Because this was what was meant to happen somehow. The mystery prepared you, the universe, the unknown, the divine, God, I don't know which word we can use, but I can perceive this faith and trust. Am I mistaken?
Yes, you're not mistaken. I do believe that faith and trust are very important allies on our journey, on my journey for sure. And I'm truly grateful that my upbringing supported the development of my faith, because I grew up in a religious family, and yeah, I practiced the faith, and I had a lot of guidance in that. And of course, this has changed along the years, and it became something else. But in its essence, faith is very important in my life for sure, and I see it in other lives as well.
Mm. So faith was part of your journey, your life journey, but also of this program. And what were you preparing for? You said you were prepared for this, but the question is, what you were prepared for?
Mm. You mean in a way what I was expecting to get there?
It's an open question, but more or less is like I heard that life prepared you for something
Mm.
when this opportunity arrived.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering, but what were you preparing for?
Mm. Mm.
I know it's a tricky question.
Yes, it's maybe another complex question. What I can say to that is that the way I see life is a beautiful journey. And either way, we get from the beginning to the end. We are born, we live, and then we die. This is the path of life, of a human life, of a living being that we cannot escape. And what we do in this time between the birth and the death partially depends on our decisions and the infusion of mystery in life. And I experienced many, many times that there are little details, little, how to say, mm, little happenings in the life that are there to guide me in a certain direction. And in the end, this direction is always back to myself, but it's giving little signs at the beginning. And then if I don't listen to these little signs, then life is so magnificent, so intelligent that it's giving louder and louder signs. Every time that I go further away from myself, from my authentic self. And in a way that I think that I was prepared is that maybe I was in a point in my life where I was desperate enough to find out truth about myself, about life, being a seeker, an explorer in life, trying to understand what all this life is about. We ask ourselves a lot of questions, and I also asked myself a lot of questions. So, in essence, I think these two things are very important to mention, that I was curious, open to explore and receive, and also, yeah, don't like this word desperate so much, but in a way, sometimes desperation can lead to revelation. So
desperation can lead to revelation,
Mm.
something like this. So desperately curious to find the revelation, could say something like
Yeah.
that. So desperate enough and curious enough to dive into yourself. I understand that there were signs there, and some point the moment arrived. Like one day you finally knew what you had to do and began, as Mary Oliver says. So that day arrived, and you began the the work, the work of soulful transformation that was part of this at this program. And the life is intelligent. Also, I liked this expression. I want to outline this expression. Life is intelligent, and if we see it, there are signs that are sent to us for the direction we can go. If we are open enough, curious enough, uh, mm, desperate enough, we might catch these signs and go
Mm.
where the path is. And yeah, very nice to hear all this. This I don't even know how to define, but these thoughts, these insights, I might call them insights or shared wisdom, because I feel you very wise in this path you were walking in these years. And the next question for you is a bit about the program, the from caterpillar to butterfly, that had 3 stages and was a journey, physical journey, because you traveled from Romania, Cyprus, and Italy, and for what I hear, also inner journey. So the question is, was there any moment that you want to share, or any challenge during the journey that you
Mm.
recall to your memory?
Mm. 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 I think I want to share and voice one aspect of these kind of trainings, and specifically this one that we took part in, from caterpillar to butterfly. The way these programs are designed by the guides and by the type of work that we are doing here, namely inner work and soul work, it's very magical. I see it as very magical because I think nowhere else in my life I experienced such deep and profound experience of timelessness. Usually these programs, as you said, they took part in 3 different countries, and in each country we spent from 7 to 9 days together. And these 7 days sometimes seemed like months, maybe even years, because they have so much potency and power, you can say medicine, that there is a journey inside of a journey inside of a journey. And I think that it depends on each individual how much they are ready to receive and how deep they are willing to go, how deep they are willing to dig inside of their own hearts and own souls. And for me personally, this digging, of course, brought up a lot of we can call them shadows, a lot of things from the past that maybe traumas or wounds that weren't healed. And it allowed me to work with them, or at least to notice them and start the journey of working with them. And I think this in itself is a beautiful gift of the training courses, of these programs, that they create opportunity. And this opportunity is not specific to certain kind of skill set, because it's available to anyone, and individually each one can benefit as much as they are able to receive, as able to hold.
So what you're saying is that even before mentioning the moments or something, what made a difference in this type of program is really the space that was created, that was out of time, in another dimension, out of space and time, I would dare to say. You said timeless, and deep, profound medicine, and I perceive it was a safe and brave space for people to dive as much as they could in this inner work, something like this. And I'm very impressed by this magic. What made it magic for you?
Uh, One of the things that I see as magic is how to say this. I believe that we experience life inside of us, and the quality of the emotions that I experienced in these programs was of the highest quality, I would say. You know, when we go on a vacation, we wish to come back rested and with a lot of beautiful memories and inspiration. And this program was definitely not a vacation because it was intense work. But I can definitely say that coming back, I come back tired and rested at the same time, with a clear mind and very, very confused at the same time. And very inspired and connected. And this is maybe one of the magical aspects, again, that there is a profound connection between humans, which I am looking for in my life, which I am searching. And I see that also many others around me are, to find authentic connections and spaces where we can be open and authentic with each other, with other humans. Maybe these kind of spaces are lacking in our daily lives, you know, in our workplaces, in our friend circles. And just the fact that we can sit down in a circle and see each other as open hearts and siblings, this in itself is very magical and profound to me. And yeah, the programs are offering definitely this.
So one of the things that made it magical, I see it's the community, the space, this bonding, the type of community that the program created, this humanness, and I don't know if it's English, humanhood, this belonging to a same family. You mentioned like siblings, and the can be at the same time clear and confusing and tiring and restful, but still this bonding, this strong connection, and this quality of relationship. I understand this authenticity, this being raw and be held by a group of people, a community of people that can witness yourself, your open heart. This can be one of the elements that make a difference in the inner work, or this type of work, soul craft or soul work. Mm. Uh, Great. So this is a good point also to share with our listeners that in order to, to start this work, you need, of course, guides. The guides that Sandra and Eleni, the trainers, the guides, supported you. But would you say that also the community, the circle, uh, will support people in doing the journey?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. One example would be when you are in the kitchen and cooking something. Um, there can be a great chef, but if the ingredients are very poor, then also the result, the food will maybe not be so tasty. And there could be very good quality of food ingredients, but if there isn't the chef who knows how to put them together, then also the food quality will be, yeah, the result of that. But I think here in this program is a mix of people who are devoted to this kind of work, are willing to do the work with themselves, and yeah, the skilled and experienced guides who come and bring their wisdom and knowledge, and guidance.
Yeah. So also I hear this devotion to work. It's I hear it's not an easy work. You need a community, you need guides, you need devotion. I understand it as commitment or willingness or desperation in your case, curiosity. It has many shapes, this devotion, but it's not an easy journey. So another question is, what was challenging in this? I hear it was magic, brought so beautiful people in beautiful surroundings of nature, this sacred work. But what was challenging you?
Mm. The most challenging was being in the darkness, as I am right now, because the sun went down, it's the evening is arriving, and I have no light here with me, just a candle, and I'm sitting in the darkness. And also the nature of this work gave me the opportunity to dive deep, deep inside my darkness and see parts of myself that maybe I was not ready to see, maybe I was not willing to see, maybe I didn't know where to look for them. And facing my fears and my shadows, just to, I don't know if the listeners are familiar with this term, shadows, but I think a very easy way to explain it is that someone said that the first part of our lives we carry a big backpack on our backs, and we fill it up with things that we just accumulate. And the second part of our lives, we try to take these things out of our backpacks because the weight of it has become so heavy. So yeah, this work of understanding that what makes my life uneasy, uh, heavy, and at times even full of suffering is a very hard work, and it requires a lot of yeah, devotion, commitment. And I would say that this was the hardest part for me, to face my darker parts and to recognize them.
Mm. Mm. Beautiful, this metaphor of unpacking your your soul with what you were carrying so far, accumulating, and then finally see what was in the darkness was packed there somewhere in the in your body, in your memory, in your psyche, and then finally the moment with courage to look at each of these shadow and work with them, and also see the suffering, embrace the suffering, and yeah, very very brave and very yeah, it sounds super powerful to me as a process. And what changed when you started to face your shadows? What changed in your life or inner life?
I think I will need a little bit of enlightenment for this, so I will switch on the lights. Just a moment.
That's why we are talking about the darkness to bring light and to bring light to the shadows. So let's bring also outer light. So yeah, what is the difference now in your life? What changed after shadow work?
Um, I think defining the change is almost impossible because the change is happening throughout time. I don't see a time of beginning and a time of ending for the change. As I said also in the beginning, I believe that we are changing every single day, and the work is ongoing until the moment we die. And maybe I just started to work on something. I don't see that the work is finished, and I don't know when will it be finished, if it will ever be, because yeah, me myself, I am an unfinished project, a work in progress, you know. So maybe I could just say that it I became more aware of the work, of the changes. In my daily life, what changed is that in the moment that I identify some of my wounded parts, some of my shadows, I can be more aware of them. And in the daily life, when they are coming forth, something triggers them, then I become slowly, this is the work, that I slowly become faster in catching them and witnessing them, you know. And then, of course, using the tools and practices that I have in my life are, yeah, it's a constant work to yeah, bring them to peace, because also these inner parts that are wounded parts, they are just longing for peace and love, you know. They're just trying to find a way to be happy, you know. So I think this is the change, becoming more and more aware, becoming more and more conscious of yeah, how we act, how we show up in the world, how I speak, how I relate to my friends, my family, my people, the people I meet on the street.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's an unfinished work. It's a lifelong work, this facing and working with your shadows. But what I get is that the big gift here is the awareness you gain in the way you relate to life, to people, and yeah, and brings peace. It's bring this, and also when you talk in your voice, I perceive that at the end of the day, what it matters is to embrace them. They want to be loved, and in order to be at peace. I don't know if this is the message, but I perceive this. They need to be
Mm.
soothed somehow. They were there for a reason somehow. Mm. Um, so I understand that it's not an easy walk. It is a walk of the transformation, and it's a lifelong journey. And we dived a bit into the challenges of this path. But I would like to move a bit towards wholeness. And for our listeners, when we talk about wholeness, we refer a bit to the model of a map of wholeness of Bill Plotkin that created a nature-based map of human psyche, where there are directions, north, south, east, and west, and in every direction there are qualities, resources that are in nature, but also in our nature, inside ourselves. And if we cultivate intentionally wholeness, we we can live a life from a different space. Briefly said, I don't know if I said in the right way, but while I was listening to you to this hard work of facing the darkness, the shadows, I was wondering um, in which part of the map, the wholeness, which qualities did you have to cultivate to face these challenging moments, these challenges?
Yeah, good question. Thank you for it. Yeah, as we are different individuals, then also the work is different, and the parts that we need to cultivate in ourselves is also different. And for me, it was a lot of work with my wounded child. So the opposite, or the medicine, let's say, for that is the healthy, the nurturing generative adult, the north facet in the map of wholeness. And although I had thought that I had been working on this part of myself, and you see, this is where the irony comes in, that it can be deceiving, because I also thought that I had cultivated this adult inside of me, and it turns out that it's still required to work with. It's still required to develop and to strengthen, like a muscle. You know, we have our muscles, and in the moment we stop working with them, they become weak. So this was one part, definitely, that I noticed that I needed a lot of maybe the kind of qualities that I didn't receive from my parents. And I'm saying this with deep gratitude towards them, because they gave me a lot of love and the most that they were capable of. And throughout this work, I understood, and I'm still understanding, of course. Maybe I am at just the beginning of understanding and knowing how to be an adult. Yet I'm feeling that the more and more I am called to work with my wounded child, then the more I know how to be a nurturing, generative adult, how to be an inner father, how to be a caring parent to myself. And through the work with myself, I will know how to embody this quality also for others.
So when you were saying about those shadows, that the shadow needed to be welcomed, embraced somehow, and I perceive that now the quality that is there is an inner parent that can love them. So the capacity of being a nurturing generative adult, as Bill Plotkin is saying, this part of us that can take care, can love, can be compassionate, can be generative and understanding and much more. So it was a process to relearn, I perceive, the way you want to be loved and the way you want to be taken care of, especially of these wounded parts of yourself. I don't know if it's right. I see you smiling. I hope it's because I'm getting it right. But I'm very curious how these words resonate to you.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm smiling because I have a very interesting relationship with learning, you know.
Mm.
Um, I think now in my life I am more preoccupied with unlearning and deleting all the programs that I have installed in my habits and in my life.
Mm.
And yeah, I will grab this opportunity to say my thoughts about learning and how I see the development of children, because I see it so much that in our culture and in our society, so soon we are trying to teach something to the children. We put them in kindergarten, we put them in school, and we start teaching them.
Mm.
And what kind of teaching is that most of the time starts with you shouldn't do this, or you shouldn't do that, or you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that, and so on. And I also struggled with this in my life as a child, with the education system, but I will probably not have the time to go in so much details here. But anyway, I believe that the children are doing fine in their own discovering life. I don't want to call it learning. We can call it learning life, but do you have to teach the children how to walk? No, they learn it by themselves. Do you teach them how to speak? Do you teach them the alphabet? No, they learn to speak by imitating their parents, and so much more. They discover. I like this word more than learning, to discover life. And if you look at kids, you will see that they are the most curious beings in wherever you can find. You know, this childlike curiosity of discovering and understanding what all this life is about. And yeah, maybe with the best of intentions, but I believe that the education systems are doing exactly the opposite, are not creating the environment where the natural unfolding of children can happen, where they can discover themselves, where they can wonder, and maybe it sounds the same, but it's written differently, you know, wonder when we are going somehow aimlessly without a destination, and wonder when we ask questions and we are curious about the world. So yeah, this is why I was smiling.
Yeah, and that's a good sharing, this one. You're questioning the learning and going into unlearning. I totally agree, actually. This yeah, the so your view about childhood is it I perceive it's important to create the space for a natural development of the child, like how important it is to let them be guided bit by their intuition, their innate gifts they know. And probably when they are children, they know even better than when they are adults. We forget when we become adults. But somehow their curiosity is guiding them towards the place where they have to go. And how crucial is the education system and the parents to create this space, and all people, I think it's all people responsibility to create this safe space for a child to unfold, as you say, to become who they are supposed to be in a natural way, something like this, right? So
Yeah, you know, as they say, it takes a village to raise a child. And um, even if we are parents or if we are not parents, I think we can care for the children. We can care for the next generation, and we can help to contribute uh, let's say more potent environment where they can, yeah, develop themselves.
mm, yeah, so we are all co-responsible of raising children, the children of the earth. They
Mm,
are all our children, and that's beautiful
mm.
to think. And still, it's also a commitment. Yeah, that we are co-responsible of co-creating this world, a better world for them to be raised in. And yeah, beautiful, Balu. We still have like 10 minutes together, and going a bit deeper into the way you bring wholeness in your life. I see you've been practicing a lot during the program. You know, you had the opportunity with the guides, with the let's say activities that you did, the people that were there that were really supporting this journey. But then when it comes to daily life, in which ways do you cultivate the wholeness, and the parts of you that need it?
Mhm. Yeah, again, a very good question, and thank you for putting it here. There are some practices that I'm doing in my daily life. Some more regularly, some more intuitively and spontaneously. Yet there is something that I'm more consciously working on, and I think this is one of the qualities of a mature adult, of taking responsibility. And when I say responsibility, I don't mean it in a way that I'm responsible for taking out the trash or paying my taxes and yeah, cutting the grass in my my front yard. But just looking a little bit at this word responsibility, the ability to respond. And I believe that this is where one very important aspect of life, to cultivate this ability to respond and not just to go through life, in a little bubble that I see so many for creating themselves, separating themselves from the world, or believing that they are separate from this human and non-human world that we live in, and developing this ability to respond to anything that comes up in our daily life. And what I mean by this is just being present, because I notice that the more present I am, the more quality I see in my life. The more present I am in the way that I go to sleep, the better I sleep. And the more present I am in the way that I prepare food and I consume food, then the better my body feels. And so on. The more present I am with working on my physical body, my mental body, and with my emotions, the more quality I have in my life. And yeah, I think that this in itself is a very important aspect, to see that I am not separate from this world. And doing these tasks that I said at the beginning, that seem so habitual and so necessary for our survival, but doing them out of a space that's coming from the understanding that I am part of all this. And if there is somebody suffering, if there is somebody who is lacking food to eat and water to drink, then no matter how well I am established, then that is a part of me, that is a wound that I'm not tending to, because yeah, we are all together in this. And the more awareness I bring into this knowing, into this truth, then naturally the more responsible I become, the more I care for the people that I meet in my life, and the more I care for the environment, for nature, for the children, for the elderly, for the elders, and for the truth, and for the peace in the world in general. So I
So,
would say that this is my main practice, and on the side, on the side, um, yeah, movement is one of the practices that I'm stepping into more and more. Authentic movement, just letting my body move as it wants to, as it feels like. Writing, again, being with my journal, and sometimes it's poetry, sometimes it's just random thoughts, and
mm,
sometimes it's nothing. There are days that I'm not writing anything in my journal.
mm,
And one more I want to share here is something I call analog hour, analog hour,
mhm,
which
yep,
means that I'm taking 1 hour of the day when I turn off my digital devices. And I usually do it around the time that the sun is setting, that the night is arriving, changing with the day. And during this 1 hour, I try to be in silence and go inwards or go outwards, go for a walk in the forest. Just watch the sky, watch the sun as it sets, and or read or meditate. Just disconnect for a little bit from the digital world.
mm. Beautiful. So many threads to follow the what you said, you shared right now. Uh, this analog hour that I find it really, powerful in this social media or a hyper connected, technologically connected world, and taking the time to disconnect and connect with something else I perceive, yourself, or going for a walk in the forest. And I'm also very, very, very much impressed by this definition of responsibility that I feel related with a way of serving the world, a way of being present. By being present, with this quality of presence, this understanding that we are not separated from nature, from the other, somehow we can better serve the world. We can bring another quality of presence, and we start to care. We start to care about everything, because bringing this responsibility, this ability to respond, this awareness, this consciousness, this presence, and practicing whatever helps us. For you, movement, writing poetry, analog hour, it really supports this way of being alive in this life, in this world, in these times also that are interesting times.
Mm.
As I think Joanna Macy says something, we are born for these times, or we are in challenging and interesting times, and we are made for them. So
Yeah, I definitely believe that we are born for these times, and I believe that it's such a beautiful time to be alive.
mhm,
I mean, we are so connected in this world with the digital technology. We can be so connected like never before. We have such an abundance that we had never before. And just in itself, it's such a beautiful time to be alive. And I wish to say that out loud and acknowledge it, that because I also believe that life in itself should be beautiful. I mean, isn't that what we are all striving for? To have a happy life, to have
mm,
a peaceful life, to have a loving life. Isn't that what we are all seeking for?
indeed, yeah. Yeah, Balu. So we have a few minutes together, and I will stay for hours interviewing you. At the time is arrived to come to a closure. And yeah, do you have a message? You delivered so many messages, I must say, that in the interview. But at the end of this conversation, that was, wandering, I would say, on many topics. Is there a message you want to deliver to people, to our listener? A quote, a poem, whatever comes to you, even your own piece of wisdom that you want to share with our audience?
Yeah, I mean, if there is time, I would read a poem that I wrote after one of the programs that was part of the Caterpillar to Butterfly program.
Yeah, we still have 2-3 minutes to conclude. So
Okay.
we are very honored, I think, I speak also for our listeners, to listen to your own poetry. Gift us.
Yeah, because I see it in a way that this is one of the fruits, let's say, of this work that the guides and we all together did. So I'm happy to share it with the listeners.
Yeah, go for it. We are delighted with
All
your
right.
go.
Yeah. Just a thought before I dive into the poem is I'm inviting the listeners to make themselves comfortable and make themselves also available to receive these words, to put aside just for a moment any other distractions and just taking a few conscious breaths to be silent for a moment and listen deeply from the heart. And the poem begins like this. Take a deep breath. When birds begin to sing, the night has not yet turned to day, and the streets still smell of dreams. Now fill up your lungs while the air is still filled with echoes of songs the spirits sing. Hold it in. Hold it all in. In this moment, you are holding the beauty of the whole universe inside of you. Embrace it, kiss it, caress it, and love it. Write another line of poetry in your life's journal. And now exhale. Let it all go. Give back what you received. And taste the emptiness once again. Reborn, just like the first day you entered the world, as a fragile petal of butterfly wings that's not yet fully formed, woven with the fabric of existence itself. Now take a deep breath again. Now the truth is holding you, and you are holding it. Just look at the rising sun. Isn't it marvelous? Even though you have already seen it 1,000 times, this time it seems a little bit different. Hold this new day as it were your first birthday gift. Look at it with the same eyes you looked at your lover the very first time you fell in love. Unpack it with curiosity. Allow it to merge with you. Wear it as your favorite dress and live it as if it was your last. Hold it just a bit more. Savor this moment, this shapeless space of timelessness and stillness, and then let go. Feel into your lungs emptying, your body becoming hollow. Take another deep breath and follow. The truth you now know.
Wow, I'm still savoring the echo of this poem that the fruits you share with us. Still undescribable. I don't know what to say. I'm not able to describe the echoes of your word, but I perceive an infusion of life between worlds. And the presence you were speaking about is really invited to be there in this poem and the breaths, in every breath we take. So thank you so much, Baloo, for being with us, for answering to the tricky questions, for sharing your pieces of wisdom and of poetry, and your soulful story of transformation.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for asking these tricky questions.
Yeah, you're always welcome whenever you want. Great, Balu. See you soon somewhere, and bye. Thank
All
you.
right. Ciao.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, Winds of Change. Stay tuned and listen to more inspiring stories on our Spotify channel, Volcanic Minds. See you on our next journey.